A classic field watch with a tough nylon strap and a metal case for under $40? No, you're not dreaming. It's the Timex Expedition Scout. What's good, bro? I'm LUISGUSTO. Welcome to another watch review. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more watch content. Today we're taking a look at the Timex Expedition Scout. Let us know in the comments if you own this watch in your collection. This bad boy retails for $62, though you could usually find it for much cheaper, and I will have a link in the description in case you want to add it to your watch collection. The Timex TW4B 15500 comes in standard Timex watch packaging. It's a black box with the red Timex branding. Inside you'll find the clear acrylic watch stand with the beautiful Expedition Scout nestled on it, along with the instructions. So now let's get into some of the materials this watch is made from. It's a bit different from other watches that we've looked at on this channel so far. Starting with the case, instead of resin like we've seen, you've got a metal case here. It's in fact made from a dark brass. It feels really good. It also has a stainless steel case back. The crystal is made from a mineral glass, and the strap is also a bit different. Here you've got a dark green nylon strap with a double loop so that the end of the strap is not going to be flapping in the wind. It does have a pin and buckle closure. So all in all, a very sturdy looking watch constructed of very fine materials. The Timex Expedition Scout has a case diameter of 40 millimeters, a thickness of 11 millimeters, and it weighs 65 grams. As I mentioned up top, the crystal is made from a mineral glass, so it's gonna be a step up from the resin glass seen on cheaper watches. It's gonna be a little bit more resistant to scratches and more durable in the long run. Instead of buttons, this watch has a crown. Makes sense, it's an analog watch. It pulls out so that you can set the time, and when you press it in, you've got that beautiful Indiglo backlight, which we'll talk more about in the review later. Now let's take a look at the watch face. It's pretty standard really. You've got the basic hour markings in Arabic numerals, tick marks in between the numbers. You've got Timex Expedition Indiglo branding, as well as the water resistance, and at the 3 o'clock position you can see the date. Nothing out of the ordinary here. You've got a beigey off-white face color, and of course you've got the metal that complements that color. The hour and minute hands are colored white with black outlines, and it's got that signature Timex second hand, which I very much appreciate. And of course, if you want to tell military time, it's got your 13 to 24 markers inside the 1 to 12. We've got the materials and dimensions out of the way. Now it's time to look at the features of this Timex Expedition Scout. It's a quartz analog movement, which is extremely reliable. It's got water resistance up to 50 meters and that classic Indiglo backlighting whenever you press that crown in. Outside of that, you're not gonna find many features on this watch. There's no moon phase, there's no month. You're not gonna have a stopwatch or a countdown timer or even an alarm, which I think makes it the perfect watch for certain occasions. And we'll talk about that later in the review. And now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's take a look at how the Timex Expedition Scout looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. The Expedition Scout is one of Timex's best-selling timepieces, so you know I had to pick it up to review on this channel. First, I'm going to tell you everything I love about this watch. I think the materials and colors are super dope. That green nylon fabric strap is comfortable. It has a texture to it, and it's gonna go with a lot of outfits. You can rock this to the office, on a nice dinner, or if you're exploring in the woods. It's not a Kelly green, so you might not be able to rock it during St. Patrick's Day, but other occasions and many different outfits, it'll match perfectly. I think dark green is a very masculine color, and it goes very nicely with the color on the face of this watch, as well as the case. All in all, I think it's a good color scheme and very nice material construction. The face itself is very readable, and it's got a classic look. You're not gonna struggle telling the time when you look down on your wrist. And if the sun has already set, you can use that handy Indiglo feature to light it up so you can tell all your friends what time it is. The water resistance up to 50 meters is a very welcome feature. It's gonna be a rugged watch, which you would expect from a field watch. It's gonna be a little bit more tough and durable than a standard dress watch, and therefore I think you could abuse it a little bit. You don't have to worry about being very delicate when you got the Expedition Scout on your wrist. This is also the first Timex watch that I'm reviewing on the channel. I'm not a stranger to the Timex brand. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, I had several Timex digital watches, and I really have fond memories of that in the glow feature. In fact, I had a really good friend who made up a whole song about the in the glow, but we'll talk about that in another video. So I do plan on reviewing lots more Timex watches on the channel. Drop a comment on which models you'd like me to take a look at. But with all that said, I don't find myself the biggest fan of this particular model watch. The design is a bit plain for my liking. I'm a guy that likes big, bold watches that make a statement, and this one kind of just blends in. I will say that it looks a lot better on my 7.5-inch wrist than I thought it would. Coming out the package, I wasn't super impressed, nor looking at the product photos, but when I put this bad boy on my wrist, I was like, okay. It's got a nice thickness to it. The metal looks sturdy. It looks tough and rugged. The colors blend well. Like I said, it's gonna go with a lot of different outfits. You can dress this watch up if you want. I do feel like a watch like this fits my lifestyle perfectly. As a YouTuber, I'm editing, I'm behind the keyboard. I travel around New York City to review food and attractions. So a watch like this is perfect. You're exploring in Central Park. A field watch like this is perfect. It blends classic with a little bit of a modern edge. It's a solid everyday watch, but I think that the audience for this one might skew a little bit more conservative, a bit older. This is the type of watch that I would buy for my dad, maybe my grandfather or an older uncle, or somebody who has a little bit more conservative taste in fashion. I wouldn't necessarily wear this watch to the gym, but I think it's perfect for the office, on a date, out with friends, running errands. Like I said, it's a little bit light in the feature department, but I guess that's what the smartphone is for, right? If you simply just need to tell time and you want a little luxury accessory to upscale your outfit, the Timex Expedition Scout is gonna fit in nicely. Speaking of the design, it reminds me of the wall clocks from high school. It's just very basic. When you look a little bit closer, you will see some nice design details. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the date placement. It's at the 3 o'clock position and it kind of blends in with the military time marking. So it could have been in a different color or a different font to make it stand out more. And that's when I say I think this is a more conservative watch. It's got the branding, the Timex, the Indiglo, the Expedition, but it's all very basic and it fits in nicely. It's not gonna be such a conversation starter. It's just gonna be a nice watch to blend into the crowd if that's what you're looking for. The Timex brand is over 100 years old. They're known for making great watches that are gonna stand the test of time, no pun intended. And you can be sure that picking up a watch like this is gonna be a good investment. It'll last you several years. It's gonna look good for many occasions. The Expedition Scout is another in their line of great watches. It's inexpensive, but it doesn't look cheap. And I think that's important to note. There are some budget watches that are gonna look cheap no matter how you dress. But this one, I think you can get away with telling people it costs you $100 and it'll just be a secret between me and you. Overall, I think it's a nicely priced watch with a good amount of features and a classic design. It'd be happy in any watch lover's collection. Leave a comment below on what you think of the Timex Expedition Scout. I'll have a link. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more watch content, and I will see you next time. Peace.